Hey, we're the Conscious Accountants. Welcome to our newest podcast. We're here today with Jamie O'Berry, owner of O'Berry Succulents here in St. Petersburg, Florida. Jamie, thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you for having me.
So we always love to start by just learning all about your business. So can you tell us your story, how you started, everything? Tell us.
I think I started around 2010 just with, I've always been really interested in interior design. And in California, I was seeing a lot of people style their homes with succulents. And I was like, this is cool because I love plants. I grew up in a family of growers. Like, there's O'Berrys that are farmers. My dad had a nursery. So I've just always, I have always said plants is in my blood. But I started to see these really cool succulents, and I was like, I want to do that. And then I also have been someone who collects ceramics and pottery. And so I had china cabinets just full of sets of ceramics that I didn't know what to do with. So I started collecting succulents and planting them in these really beautiful teacups and little figurines. And then Etsy had just started. And I think any person that's been interested in crafting would see Etsy and be like, oh, I could do this for a living. Yes. And it's actually really hard and difficult. But, I had a dream and I was like, this is what I want to do now. So I started selling them on Etsy and it went really well. Cool. But I'd get very nervous because I was shipping very fragile vintage pieces. And even though I shipped out, I think, 90 pieces and 2 broke, there was this fear that everything was going to break. Mm-hmm. So around 2011, I started applying for local farmers markets. And I think my first one was Hyde Park Market. Mm-hmm. And I loved it. And I went in thinking I'm going to just get to do this full time. This is going to be amazing. And I think the only people that came out and bought my stuff were my family members. But I started to get my feet wet and realize what I need to do to make sales and how to price things and market things. And then I started doing local craft fairs like the indie market. Mm-hmm. And it kind of just took off from there. Actually, I feel like it just kind of ran wild. I had these boundaries. I had a full-time job and doing markets is a lot of work, and this is Florida and it's very hot. Yeah. So I was like, I'll just do one a month. But no, I worked Monday, Friday, and then I'd do market Saturday and Sunday. And I was a lot younger then, so you have that stamina and you're you love what you do and you can just make it work. And that's how it started.
Wow. And so what does O'Berry Succulents look like today?
Today, sometimes I feel like I don't even know, but then other times I'm really confident. I'm I know exactly what this is. But
same.
With COVID, it's also different. Mm-hmm. I feel like, though, COVID kind of pushed me in a direction I wanted to go. Maybe I was a little hesitant because it's a lot of work to kind of pivot your business. Yeah. Before, I was selling at the farmers markets and craft fairs, and all of a sudden in March, it just stopped. And I was like, okay, well, I've been wanting to do an e-commerce site. Mm-hmm. Now's my time to do it. And it's really scary to just change your business, because there's this thing in my head with self-worth, and if my business isn't doing too well, maybe this is over and I'm just not good at this anymore. The negative things start coming into your head. So there's this fear making a change. Totally. But I just kept with it, and actually everyone loved it, and it was a great turning point. And I still hope in the future to do farmers markets and craft fairs. I love doing that. I used to travel a lot with that too. Okay. And I hope I get to do that again. But right now I'm doing really great online with my e-commerce store.
Awesome. Wow. So are you still afraid about shipping, or have you gotten over that?
No, now, well, at first, but there's always growing pains with shipping, especially I make the little ceramic pots now. Yeah. So it was funny, the more I cared and the more packaging I used, the more they would break on the way. So it's finding I call it baby bear, just right, that baby bear moment. But no, actually, I started making miniature plants, a miniature cactus and air plants. And they're so easy to ship. It's wonderful. And I get to pay the lowest price with USPS.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not too expensive for the people that are buying. And it's awesome.
Cool.
Awesome.
And you were showing on your Instagram lately these like custom orders that you're doing. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Because
Yes.
it's so cute.
They're so fun. So I do custom pet portraits. And so customers send me pictures of their pets. I've done rabbits, cats, dogs, and they have to send me the pets' names. So then I can feel like I can kind of say their name, and I'll make little songs as I'm painting it, like Ernie, stuff like that.
That's so sweet.
And I've become kind of attached to them, and then I have to ship them off. But they're really excited about them, and they send me pictures.
Aw.
So it's like these pet portraits are becoming like my little pets. It's kind of weird.
Wow.
But I'm working on like 20 right now. They've become really popular.
Whoa.
I love them. People love them. It's so fun.
Yeah,
That
is really fun.
is amazing. Sign me up.
Yeah.
That is so cool. So you were actually the one who told me about the term the COVID pivot. I hadn't actually heard that, but it encompasses it perfectly. So what does the COVID pivot mean as a business owner? What is it?
I actually heard it on a podcast. People, we were so used to a certain way of life, and then we're staying in our homes more. We're really careful about when we go out. And so people have had to pivot the way they do things. For me, I'm not doing farmers markets and craft fairs. So my pivot is putting all my focus on doing online sales.
Right.
Which COVID is terrible. I wish it didn't happen.
Of course.
But if I was to find the positive in it, I was able to give all my energy into this new venture and see a lot of success with it. Whereas if
amazing.
COVID hadn't happened, sometimes I have a habit of having my hand in everything.
Yep.
And it's when you're starting something new and fresh, I feel like it's best to just give it all your attention. And I was able to do that.
That's
So.
amazing. I love hearing how people have made lemonade, basically.
Exactly.
Yes. Oh, that's awesome. So right when COVID happened, all your markets got canceled, right? And you probably were planning on that revenue coming
Right.
in, and you had to quickly figure out your pivot. What happened financially for you? Like, you don't have to go in too much detail of your finances, but how were you feeling? What did you do? Like,
Okay, so there was like sadness because I thought my business was over because I thought because I'm not spending money, I assumed no one else was
Right.
spending money. And I was so wrong. If anything, there was a big push with people wanting to buy independent and local. And so I slowly started putting my plants online and then everyone wanted it. It was like I couldn't make enough of them.
wow.
So there was that. And yeah.
That is so cool. And I know that you were looking into some of the like local and county like grants and other types of resources. Like, what was your experience like with that for any business owners out there that are thinking about that, or they also found some things?
So at first, I have my mom's awesome, but she would reach out to me every day saying, you need to apply for this, you need to apply for that.
Yep.
And I have some learning disabilities related to math. And so just seeing them, I would just clamp up and get so scared and
It's so
nervous.
overwhelming.
And I felt like I was like going to miss out on these opportunities because I didn't know how to fill out all the paperwork. And they were asking for things that I didn't even know, like, what are they? So I was like, I don't want to bother my accountants, but I'm going to reach out to them. And I mean, y'all were amazing and awesome. I felt like I could meet with you and you could show me everything I needed to do to get the paperwork done. And it actually was a really easy process. And I think every grant I applied for or the PPP loan, I ended up getting.
Wow.
And really that's what's gotten me through COVID.
That's
So,
amazing.
Yeah.
That's great. So I'm not trying to quiz you, but like, what are these grants? Like, what qualifications did you have to have? And like, what do you know about the PPP loan?
I don't really know because I feel like I just followed your directions. But I know I had to gather a lot of paperwork. And then I had to work with, it was best to work with a small bank because the larger banks just had so many clients and bigger
Right.
clients than me, you know? And so I ended up working with Iberian Bank, and they were amazing.
Good.
And yeah, so I put that paperwork together. And then I also did the Fighting Chance with St. Pete. And it was tough at first because I didn't fall into any of the categories. Like I didn't have a brick and mortar or a restaurant. So I think the third go around, I was able to fit in the home-based business category.
Yeah.
And I ended up meeting with you, going through the list of what I needed and giving it to them. And I was able to get the grant.
Yeah.
Awesome.
In situations like this, it's so important to have your bookkeeping under control because you have to show all these numbers. And it's like if you have to catch up a few years behind, you're like, oh my God.
Absolutely.
Yes.
You miss out on, I know a lot of people actually that missed out on this. And for me, it was really easy because I worked with you. So it was easy for me to be like, oh, you just do this and that. And they're like, oh no, like my taxes aren't right, so I'm not able to get that. And so I'm just forever grateful. Like I'm like your biggest fan.
Oh, stop.
No, for real, I am. I don't know.
We didn't pay her to come. I promise.
I don't know how like local businesses are making it without you guys. So
Well, we're always here if anyone needs us.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give somebody who maybe they missed their chance because the PPP loans are closed now for now? I don't know about any grants in people's areas. There may still be things, but what can business owners do right now to, the days are getting long and feeling kind of like, okay, when is this ending? Do you have any advice?
It sounds kind of like cliche, but just stick with it because our time is coming. October through December is a really, great moment for small businesses.
Right.
That's kind of one of
Holidays.
our top holiday quarters. So like usually August and September is just the worst. So this couldn't come at a more horrible time. But if you can get through that, I think you'll see some success around the holidays. I mean, fingers crossed. That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So if somebody wants to shop with you, where can they find you? How can they get to you?
I have an Instagram, O'Berry Succulents, and then I have a website, oberrysucculents.com. I have plant care on the website. I have like a portfolio of all the things I've done. So if you want to get inspired, and I mean, everyone's into plants right now and they make people really happy.
Totally.
So I'm there for inspiration. And also if you want to add any to your office or desk or space, you can purchase from me online and order the little pet portraits too.
Yes, the
So
pet portraits.
cute.
And before I forget, what you do some other services as well. If you want to tell people about that too, anybody who's listening, if they, how they can get in touch with you about like some of the more service-based offerings you have for like restaurants and weddings and all that kind of stuff.
I do bouquets and boutonnieres and everything for weddings. Also, I do restaurant decor, any outdoor planners or vertical walls. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Just send me an email or go through my Instagram or website and we can collaborate.
Awesome. We will definitely direct people to all those links in the podcast notes as well. And you were actually asking me a question before the podcast started that I think a lot of our listeners are probably wondering too, who got PPP loans. So I was just going to take a little accounting moment to share kind of the latest with what's going on with the forgiveness side. So with the PPP loan, a lot of people qualified as business owners and got this loan, but you might remember me telling you that you can potentially get 100% of that loan forgiven so that ends up not really being a loan. It just gets disappeared. You just get to have the money basically to help you. But there's a whole thorough, crazy application that you have to do to actually get approved for it to be forgiven. And the bank is the one that will make that decision if they approve you. And some people are worried that maybe only part of it will be forgiven and the other part they're going to have to pay back and what that's going to look like. So we're getting a lot of business owners reaching out to us asking, when should I be applying? Can you apply for us and all of that? And the latest news is that we're in not me personally, but really the American Institute of CPAs has been a huge advocate for this. We're trying to get Congress to waive basically anybody who took under $150,000 for their PPP loan to just have the loan automatically forgiven, or have like the most basic one sheet, like very simple short form forgiveness application, instead of all the complex calculations that require spreadsheets and things like that to calculate percentages that you can get back. So everyone just kind of has to hold tight a little longer to see if Congress will pass this, but it is looking promising. And I know most of my clients are in that 150,000 or under threshold. So I promise to make a big announcement on Instagram and email and all of that once we find out officially what's going on. But hopefully, fingers crossed, it'll be a very streamlined, easy, painless process to get that loan forgiven, so you can just keep pivoting and doing what you love and making people happy. So do you have any questions for us? You got two accountants here.
Well, yeah, I saw there's actually another local grant that people can apply for through Pinellas County.
Yes. Yeah. So that's, I believe, called the Pinellas Cares.
Right.
Yeah. And that one on their website, it's very similar to the process for the Fighting Chance Fund. And I don't know what the website actually, we can look that up and add that to the notes. But if you just click on that link and go there, you can see if they still have funding. I'm not sure if I know they're doing like rounds of funding. And that one, I know there were certain industries that they were allowing, but they might, like the Fighting Chance, also slowly do like open it up to more people as they get more funding. So yeah, that's definitely an option as well.
Cool. I'll be reaching out to you for help with that.
Absolutely. Yeah, we got your back.
Awesome.
Well, Jamie, thank you so much for joining us today.
You're welcome. Thank you.
So cool to hear your story and just to hear what you've done with COVID to be successful and, keep people happy with plants and pet plants and everything. It's
awesome.
So cool what you're doing.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
Yeah.
Alrighty. If you have any questions for us or need help getting started, check us out on social media. We are on Instagram at Conscious Accounting, and our website is conscious-accounting.com, or you could email us at info@conscious-accounting.com.